guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. With my king, got the blinders on. Filling my stack, yeah, high and long. Time is on, I am a bomb. Golden touch, got the mind is on. Hey, on a wave, from the cave to main stage. I'm about to engage. Raise the price of my wage. Didn't know how man stay fly, man, I just that guy and I work rate high. Didn't know how man stay lit, man, I just move quick and I stay active. Didn't know how man stay boss, man, I paid that cost, long nights on the job. Didn't know, I'm a pro. Didn't know, I'm in the zone. In my zone, yeah, I feel at home. Silence on my phone, focus on my goals, whoa.
Who will ascend to VCT EMEA 2025? That was another banger. We are back, and I am delighted to tell you guys that I'm now joined by Mosey from Apex. Let's bring him in. Hi, Mosey. First of all, congratulations on that win. It was a long match. How are you feeling after that?
It was a really hard match for us. I think we didn't expect it gonna be that tough. I was all the time thinking that 2-0, like we're gonna win Lotus. I feel like Lotus was more under control than other maps, but somehow we lost it. So I guess that's who it is. But yeah, it was a really hard match for us, you know.
Yeah, it's very competitive right now in Ascension this time around. I do want to ask you about Lotus. I'm glad you brought it up because that was the first time we have ever seen your roster go 6-0 down right from the beginning of the map. We've never seen that from you guys before. We've never seen you have to kind of force that comeback and get back into the game. Why do you think there was a couple of slow starts today? And how did you guys manage to bring it back?
Well, I think we like lose the pistol most of the time. Yeah, when we start, like, of course, with losing, like, it's hard when you lose pistol and then lose first buy bonus. It's like, you know, like the effect of domino, and it's hard. It's hard, but I think it's good that we showed that we can wake up on the good moment, you know, and you can also like see that the level is higher than in the Polaris. So it's also for us. We need to burn more energy during the games. So that's like was yesterday like one of the reasons. Like we burn all energy on first map, and then you know it was kind of harder to play second and third map for us. And today we try to balance energy, so we don't lose all energy on first map. We were kind of let's say less screaming, because yesterday was full. If you go on first map, there's like some party or something, you know, if you hear us. But today was kind of more quiet, and yeah, we come back most of the like times.
But the vibes are important, right? I mean, we've seen it this year. I mean, your former teammate, Heretics as well. Those teams like Heretics, Sentinels, they have these players that can keep things positive, keep the vibes up. So who's that player or players on your team when you're in those situations?
I think during the official, everyone tried to, you know, be like someone that can like bring the atmosphere to the team. Like if not me, like then someone else. But I think like most of the time it's me. I think I was always like bringing mood to the teams, but overall, like I wouldn't say it's mainly me. You know, I think everyone has some like piece of brick in this house, let's say.
And how much do you think your experience as a team, you know, you have a lot of veterans, how much does that help you guys grind it out and make sure you bring home those wins?
I think, yeah, we have this experience, but sometimes we still like we can see like that experience is not everything, you know. There is like, as you said like before, like we need to get good atmosphere in the team and everything else. And if you are in the good mood, like we're gonna be on same page, it's gonna be good, you know. It's like, you know, because when you mention experience, like I would say like it's also like first year for me as IGL, so it's also like I'm also learning a lot. And I think like every like if it's Avova or it's Solcast, they bring a lot of help during the mid calls. So yeah, I think like everyone give something into this team with experience, and even with Kayak, like mainly why we took Kayak to the team, like because he on trials he has own like ideas. So I think even his lack of experience, he's not stressing. He has own ideas. What is important on Duelist? You cannot play like Duelist and wait that IGL tell you what to do. You know.
You can't micromanage. You can't really be micromanaging.
Yes. So it's best when someone has like own ideas on the role he play. You know, it's not only
Yeah,
like a Duelist.
Yeah, just to follow up for everything that you just said before I let you go, because we do get those IGLs that do micromanage a bit more, but I guess is that because you are on a team with so much experience, you know, you have all these other players who can mid-round, can help you, can a kind of secondary call, that the ideas is easier for you to execute as an IGL?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot, to be honest. Like I think we won Ascent mainly because of the mid calls that we had from the like ideas, basically. Even we were down the 12-7 or 28, there was someone speaking like what's going on, you know. It was helping a lot and executing ideas. But yeah, like I think it's really good to have them. It's for sure it was easier for me to like start IGLing when I had experienced players, so it can help me from the beginning. And I'm pretty happy like how we are working. And yes, like let's see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, kayak go kill, best strat, you know. Absolutely love that strat.
Maybe it would work in Fnatic, you know.
But thank you very much, Mosey, for joining me.
Thank you so
congratulations once again today, and best of luck on your next game.
Thank you.
All right, that was the first game. Would you believe that we have another best of 3 coming up? But before that, let's toss this over to a lovely content piece brought to us by the people from Barça Esports. Check this out.
¿Qué opinas del Barça de este año?
Ay, ¿qué quieres que te diga, hijo? Esta temporada no fue nada fácil, pero cuando lo es, no es fácil armar un equipo con el que competir, un equipo que funcione, que dé seguridad en defensa y emocione al atacar.
Ya te digo, tenemos un killer polaco que hace temblar a todos los rivales.
¿Un qué? Lo que tiembla es la grada con las promesas que tenemos. Los mejores de por aquí. Pero nuestra ambición no podía quedarse solo en hacer un buen papel.
Claro, estamos preparados para todo. Guardiola está listo.
Oh, sí, aunque ahora está en otro club. La huella del legado de Pep y su tiki-taka sigue presente.
¿Qué Pep ni Pep? Don Antonio Guardiola. Guardi.
¿Cómo?
Si es Antonio Guardiola cogida, la ronda siempre es probable.
Claro, Guardi, el ídolo que todo equipo debe tener y que vino desde abajo para coleccionar MVPs.
Troca de Guardi mano a mano. ¡Ey! ¡Para Guardi!
Junto a él, Maniek y Jesse. Uno ya sabía lo que era ganar y nos guió a levantar la Rising. El otro llega al equipo con toda la energía que necesitamos.
Que viene enfadado Maniek. Maniek que electrocuta al primero y al segundo doble.
A su lado Saiz, el niño dinosaurio, que se reivindicó una vez más.
Busca la tercera, la firma triple para Tinoque.
Y Borwen, nuestro gran capitán, curtido en 1000 batallas antes de llegar aquí. Liderando desde fuera a Lucas Rojo y Mason, que aplicaron de nuevo la fórmula para ganar.
¿Está este Barça también entre los mejores?
Sí, papá, ya hemos demostrado lo que sabemos hacer. Ahora es el momento de Ascension. La dura batalla para conseguir una plaza en VCT EMEA, donde pelearemos con los mejores. Y una vez allí, empezaremos a escribir nuestra nueva historia.
La historia de un equipo que es más que un equipo, como ha sido siempre.
I just know that our producer Evan absolutely loved that video. I could just tell he would have had a ball there. But what a great way for us to kind of get to know some of the players too, because if you guys have been keeping up with what's been happening over in the Spanish League, maybe you thought KPI was going to make it. Maybe you thought UCAM was going to be the one to make it here. But no, it wasn't Pilski. It was Barça.
Yeah, 100%. Like, not only like watching that video as well is fantastic for like getting the vibe of what the domestic leagues are like, because you know some of them are a little bit different, but it was great to see the shots of them winning on LAN. You could tell it meant a lot to them to come to Ascension here, and 100% echo your sentiment. After these guys finished 6th in stage 1 and did get knocked out by UCAM, they take revenge in split 2, beating both KPI and UCAM to get here. That's a massive result, especially considering they didn't even change their roster or anything.
I mean, coming into this year, I'll be honest, this was not the crossover that I was expecting, but I love it. And again, just on that content piece, just such a great way to tie it all together and to create those storylines that we love watching. But I mean, yeah, this roster has done some incredible things this year already. The fact that they also had to play a couple of best of fives to get their way here, and we know how grueling those can be. So also a tenacious team, not only a team that you cannot underestimate. So I have high hopes for them in our Ascension tournament.
Yeah, and the craziest thing in that best of five, those best of fives, is that you had Bisk dropping like 105 kills, and then Famzy dropping 110 kills against Barca, and they still couldn't beat them. It's almost like you need your carry player to have a live game, and then you'll still lose to this team. But the caveat is, Sam, though, they have not played a single best of three. This will be the first best of three they play the entire year, which I think it's like a really big anomaly in this tournament.
Yeah, that is really weird. I mean, most of the regional leagues, obviously, or the challenger leagues, pardon me, have best of threes, which is the kind of standard format. But obviously over in Spain, they do the best of one format, and then you get to the semi-final and the grand final, and you immediately shoot over to best of five. They go from one of the... Look, a lot of people will look at a best of one and call it a coin flip. So you go from that format to like this grueling absolute marathon that you have absolutely no preparation for. And so going into a best of three, it can go one of two ways. Either you're like, oh, we've just done 2 best of fives, we're fine. Or you're like, you're getting whiplash from just the crazy amount of changes and how do you adapt to this? But they've already won their first series, so I think they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and of course, we talk about them not keeping the same roster. Kappa, me when I lie, Pilski, because Jesse is going to be stepping in this time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, they kept the same roster after not a great result in Split 1, and then they win Split 2, and they change out KPZ, who has a fair bit of experience from last stage in Ascension, did pretty decently in Split 2 as well for Barca, you know, definitely played his role. What I will say, though, is looking at the stats from Jesse playing in over in the France League, he's slightly better than KPZ statistically, so I'm keen to see what he's going to bring to this team in the same role.
Yeah, let's move on to their opponent here, because Go Next, GN. I think their result yesterday, Sam, I think speaks volumes. We just saw Apex on stream. They were a formidable opponent, but GN were the ones that won on their first game.
Absolutely, and I mean, we spoke at length about Apex and their like star-studded roster. We cannot talk about Go Next without talking about a player like Zeke, right? And so he comes up against this almost super team of Apex, and obviously not just him, but he's a previous world champion, and the experience that he's brought to this roster, a relatively inexperienced roster when you look at the big picture and the grand scheme of things, and I think that amount of experience is invaluable. We speak about how, you know, they were kind of the underdogs. They had players dropping over 100 kills in their best of fives and they still come back. To me, that speaks to the ability to adapt, improvise, overcome. That feels like it's Zeke's experience really shining through.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to bring that experience factor to this roster. They've also got some heavy hitters in Alexi, who had a monstrous map yesterday. And Profec's got really, really good stats for, you know, how hard he frags on controller. So, you know, you're starting to see the team come together, and there's a reason why they won back-to-back splits over in East Surge.
Yeah, and let's talk about those monster stats yesterday, because I feel like we need to show them, Pilski. They were just ridiculous considering he was playing up against Apex.
Yeah, I mean, some people are saying like that might be the grand final prelude that you're seeing early on in the group. Obviously, we've seen results all over the place, so you're never really sure what's going to happen. But yeah, seeing a series like this from Alexi, especially after they lost the first map, and that seemed to just light a fire under this guy. He went absolutely ballistic on the Jet on Haven in the second map and was very, very key to kind of turning that momentum around, and they were able to secure the series in 2-1 fashion. So we'll see if they could double up today against Barca, or if Barca's going to potentially beat another one of those champs 2021 winners, because they already took out Keyless over in the Spanish League.
The only thing that worries me when it comes to, you know, Alexi is that he's got a really high first death rate. Really high first bloods as well, not taking that away. Getting that numbers advantage, that man advantage, absolutely instrumental. But when you're kind of pretty consistently being the first to go down as well, it kind of instantly evens out those numbers. Now you no longer have a duelist, and things can start to get a little bit sticky. It's the one stat that kind of had me a little bit worried. So hopefully today we see a little less of that, but please keep up with the first bloods. That's entertaining as heck.
I mean, I think we definitely will see that. But I also want to quickly shout out, as we look at the map videos, that GN's assistant coach is Chak, a familiar face, if for those people that remember him in VCT as well. And as we take a look at the map videos, a GN, a team that doesn't really have a permaban, whereas I feel like Lotus is going to be gone right from Barca. They haven't really liked to play. Here we go.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, GN have got a little bit more freedom in terms of the map picks and bans. Barca's been very strong on bind in Spain Rising, so not surprising to see that get taken out. We'll see what Go Next are going to go for here because, you know, their map pick, they're a little bit more flexible. Haven's an interesting one, maybe riding some of that confidence off of the game yesterday because despite the fact they dominated Apex yesterday, they hadn't played it in ages before that, and Barca looked pretty decent on it.
To be perfectly honest, I had Haven or Abyss as my potential bans from them because they have so few reps on it. So it is a huge surprise to see them actually pull that one out. And unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the bind, which Barca love to pick into usually. So instead, there you go. They have picked into Icebox previously, so they're going to be picking into that one again. And this is a map that has been banned out by GN in the past, but with their map veto, I don't know, history kind of all over the place, it really does speak to a bit of a deep map pool and comfortability on most maps. So I'm not sure that it's going to be that much of an issue.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think it's good to not have a permaban, especially when you get to a tournament like this. But of course, let's see what map 3 is going to be. The speed of this is like really teasing us, I feel like. Oh, hey, it's
there you go. You get...
Yeah, we'll see it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one left over against Apex yesterday, so I'm feeling like Go Next are going to be happy with that. They are playing kind of that more Heretics-esque comp, and they seem to use it pretty well against Apex. Barca's another one of these teams that coming out of their domestic league, we haven't seen them play Abyss yet, so there's no data there. It's going to have to be some of these teams, once again, early on in Ascension here, feeling each other out on a map that there's not been many reps on and trying to work things out a bit more on the fly.
It certainly feels brave to allow that Abyss to go through, really, for both of these teams. I know that Go Next has played it, you know, very recently, and they did get a win on it, so they're feeling pretty confident, but it's the one time that they've played it in the last 6 months, I want to say. So it is risky, absolutely, and you're putting a lot of confidence in that one win. And then obviously for Barca, having never played it, that always kind of speaks to me of, oh, well, maybe they've put a lot of time into it behind the scenes. They haven't really been playing it because they haven't wanted to make it obvious that they're comfortable on it. And if you're allowing it to flow through, you have to assume that they're somewhat comfortable on it. But we'll only find out if we get there.
In fairness, the map hasn't been eligible for that long. You know,
Yeah,
it's like it's
yeah.
not like they could have played it more times in the 6 months. Has it even been out for 6 months? Where's the time
been
gone?
that long.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But we saw this yesterday, right? Teams taking a risk when it comes to the Abyss, and Pilski, it did pay off. But the question is, will we even get there? Do you think we're gonna see a map 3?
Yeah, I don't really know because I don't have a great reference of like Barca's level necessarily. They've beaten a couple of good teams in Spain though. I think Go Next is like kind of a hot favorite here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them 2-0, but you know, we'll give Barca the benefit of the doubt to at least steal a map here, and I'd agree with that a bit sentiment as well. Like, there's just not a chance for teams to play it in challenges, and it really feels like it's not like a risk leaving it into the third. It's more like teams kind of playing veto chicken with it, whereas I would say the example of taking a risk with it might be Mouse, for example, like first picking it in a series against Saw the other day. That's a bit more of a risky prospect than, you know, leaving it into play veto chicken with it, like we've seen a couple of teams do. Even Apex in the last series, leaving it in as that potential third map, even though they lost it against Go Next yesterday.
Let's talk about this Haven here, because we are about to head into Agent Select in just a moment, and we're going to move, Sam, from one Haven that we just saw in the last game, where it was kind of wacky, you know, out off meta stuff left, right, and center, into a more, it feels like regular schmegular Haven comps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the one side, we'll probably get a Neon, and that's as out there as it's going to get, and that's not even that out there when you think about it. Quite a few teams have been playing Neon basically since her release on this map. It's not as often as, you know, your Jet, for example, but it does happen. It's not unheard of. So, yeah, pretty bog standard comps here. A near mirror matchup aside from those duelists. There's not much to say on that one. I like these. I like these comps. Somebody said in chat earlier, is there any agent that this caster does like? These ones. I like these ones.
I thought you liked Gecko. I thought you were a Gecko fan.
That too. Yeah,
there we go. But it's time to jump into game and to bring two other casters into this. Same casters. I don't know why I'm saying it as if it's other people. But yeah, I'm happy. It's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much.
It's me, Pansy. Hey, I'm back.
You're looking
a bit rough.
Much worse for wear, I have to say, Pansy. I'm gonna leave it there. I won't go in too hard on you, Tom. You set yourself up for it, though. Barca versus Go Next. Go Next have surprised me and you quite a bit, Tom. They played even better than our wildest dreams. I'll say than your wildest dreams. My wildest dreams were that they still lost the series yesterday. So you were definitely in much higher spirits about them, and well, it proved to be the correct play. An incredible series for them. Let's see if Barca can disrupt the rhythm.
Oh, I'm looking at Alexic. Yesterday on this map, he was just a different beast. Like, he managed to pretty much diff anybody who even looked in his general direction. Don't catch eyes with Alexic, because you're going to get a bullet to the face. And already he's got the opener in this one. We'll talk about his stats versus Apex in a little bit, but for now, we're right in the thick of the pistol round, and this is not looking like the greatest of starts for Barca.
Oh, well, that's quite the return, Tom. Just as you speak, you're showing why you shouldn't. It's down to Mini. 1 versus 2, and a chance on distance to try to get these shots, to land them, to connect them here, and put that defensive side to shame. The defuse, though, is going to be pulled across the line, and Barca on the defensive side have managed to find themselves a 1-0 start.
That was really impressive. Vorven especially being able to get back in 3 kills in a 5 versus 3 post plant. I feel like in the initial stages, Go Next did everything correctly. They had the lurk, and then just this double peek where he takes 2 players down in a matter of seconds. I think that was what? That was a high-low. That was a player above and a player below. You talk about those positions not being easy to clear. Well, Vorven basically did it on his own. So fair play. We've had some solid Sovas so far. I think Davey taking the biscuit, but hey, we'll see if he can continue that. Maniac, someone I'm so happy to see back on the server. A player who has had, well, a pretty decent career in some solid teams, and someone, I'll be honest, the fact that he hasn't been in the tier 1 before is a bit of a crime. I'm glad to see he's on the road to it now.
Barca have everything locked down. It'll be tough to see Go Next even land damage at this point. Just look how passive that defensive side is being. No one wanting to be the one to give away the pick. Trapwire. I like this one too. It's at an angle, so you can only break the one side of it. That walking on in. Not punished up aggressively, but it will be in future rounds. This time, just passive hold. Born using the recon just to make sure there's no one else sneaking up on B, although he'll start to get a little worried. You'll see him move towards one of these extremities, and it's right into the site that's being hit. Profak already super low and cleaned up with a 4K. That's a quick way to build up the Neon ult. Let me tell you, 2 away from it and a 2-0 start for Barca.
Yeah, it's not the most desired ult, but especially when you're going to go into a lower purchase round, it's definitely not something to shake a stick at, and I think Maniac getting off to a good start is going to be important here. I think especially with the fact that Barca are one of the teams that are yet to get reps on the board. Obviously, a lot of teams at this point have even played a couple of games, so I think that them a little bit behind, obviously, with Go Next already having a victory, and a victory versus Apex at that. I'm gonna want to get off the mark swinging. A purchase in here now for the side of Go Next. And it's not the worst buy. Like, having a couple of pistols, definitely not ideal. Maniac actually going to be handed over a rifle, and Vorven is going to take over with that outlaw. But it's more so, can they do much cost here? Can they make things a little bit more awkward?
That's certainly going to be the name of the game. A good stack would help out, but very, very slow play coming in from the side of Go Next on the attack. You can see that they've pumped brakes, waiting for any aggression, for any advantages to be quickly given away. Lurk sent out by Mini as well. Pressure on A likely. But these are the rounds where typically you're going to expect your opponent to go for those over rotations, right? Drone goes in, smoke goes in, stun as well. So at this point, Barca are calling like everyone's here. There's 3, there might be 4, could even be 5. And then you get the rotations. That's when Mini can strike. I thought they would go back, but they've run into it anyways. They run into a lot of these defensive players, and they are very much winning the fights, at least to start. Bulldog on Jesse. Vandal on side. Great opportunity, and Jesse's all that's needed. That is insane. 4 kills under his belt. And then 3rd round locked down.
So they've had a 3K and 2 4Ks, and we're already 3 rounds into the game. Barca, we've seen this squad do tricks when it comes to the football. They've always got the style points, legends, the likes of Ronaldinho, a man called Leo, but the fact is, right now, we've seen Jesse styling. Obviously, he's the new man on the block as well. Like, he was a player that's literally been brought in for Ascension. I think a contentious thing to do, to change your winning formula, but if he's going to keep it up like that, fair play.
That's a bit of a shaky shot from Guardi, but luckily it's returned by Maniac. And we put back to the 4v4. Ult used now. Neon on the slide. And Hunter's Fury going to be activated as well. That's Warren from downtown. Alexic already going to be dropped, but a good return by Profek, who will not meet his demise anytime soon. Finding himself the double before he falls, and that is a lot of leg work done. The attacking side running down the clock, the reveal on Jesse, and it gets pulled into position just on time. A 1v1 with the defuse still needed. Vorwin just sticking it all the way right under his nose, and he's got it across the line. That was a close round, one with a lot of potential for Go Next, but in the end, Barca, well, the result for them remains the same.
This is exactly how things started off yesterday in Go Next's first game. A very slow start to the match that ended with them having to climb back into it. We're seeing it quite a lot, teams coming in cold, but right now, Barca, well, they've already had big plays from the majority of the individuals on their side. It's been impressive thus far. Obviously taken a lot of damage in that round, but it's not something that's going to cost them too vastly, at least for now. Alexic already being denied by quite a lot, and Profek's going to stick that. It just tries to TP all the way into heaven, not expecting anyone to be there. That is an opening pick that's about as free as it gets for Barca.
I have a little more delivered to them. Alexic's low. But that player, the games that we saw yesterday, he hit his shots far more than he missed them. 70 HP. He needs to be quick on the trigger as he rounds that corner. There's a smoke up too. No choice but to walk through it at this point. Although Zeke ready with the stun, no flash. They can still see, but Alexic gets the better of them. He needed to be quick. That's exactly what he was. A 3 versus 3 now. Tags have been issued, sure, onto Jesse, but Alexic more so, just 30 HP. Mini and Bold need to be careful not to throw this one away, and it looks like that is what Mini is doing. It's what Bold's done as well. Alexic has to pick them all up. He's got one for free.
Thought for a second he might lose it, but that's his 3rd kill of the round already. Even still, 30 HP. The other players are also tagged, especially Dies on the other side. The first goes, but it's the trade immediate. It would have had to be an ace for Alexic. It wouldn't be his first. Not even his first on this map. But unfortunately, it isn't to be. Another round where just a single player survives for Barca, but I don't think they're going to care.
Well, you know, Tom, at a certain point, the economy discussion doesn't matter so much if you aren't losing the round. We still need to see their opponents, you know, tip over that final domino. lagging behind just slightly. Alexic, one hell of a try. And they have to take risks. You got a guy on 30 HP. This is where you push forward. You try to find an angle to fight from. Both going in as individuals, both losing individual fights. And an ace needed to bring it across the line.
The thing is, when you have the plant down, though, a lot of the time you're going to try and use that clock to your advantage. Like, I understand having a low HP player, but, well, that was a 3v3 scenario that they basically just fed kills into the defenders, gave up all the spots that they didn't have to clear, gave them so much extra time to play with. And again, you see what Alexic was able to do just playing with that clock on his own, having a teammate or two. It could have been a very different story. Gambling on the element of surprise, and well, it ends up completely biting them. And again, I feel like we saw this yesterday, a very slow start for the side of Go Next. Again, you're talking about just the performance that individually was there for Alexic. He was 28 and 6 plus 22 on their map of Haven when they were dominant. But they've already lost as many rounds as they did versus Apex on this map.
Yeah, this is the thing. I can understand you want to be proactive. Maybe you're worried about the utility they have on the retake, but you don't win those fights. The round has already fallen apart. And Alexic's ace was all that was there to pick it back up. Now he's got Blade Storm to work with. The rest of his squad rifled up in the C site. New target. Very early on committing to it. Mini left behind to watch flank and play that late lurk. A lot of control, a lot of damage too. 2 health left on Alexic. That's a staggering amount of damage for just blind spams, but they just knew he was going to dash in.
Prophet going down as well. Rolling Thunder. Impact is null and void. Alexic's been caught. Mini from the back might be one of the only players that can really do too much here. Hunter's Fury still available for Bold, but unless they get themselves into a winnable position, they've just forgotten about him. He's managed to go back around, and now Zeke's caught 2 on the way in. It was not the round that I expected to fall for Barca, but Go Next have found the gap anyway. Mini with a double dip. I'm surprised that he comes out smiling. And then Zeke, well, we've talked about this guy as the experience, the backbone for the team. That was such a crucial 2K, stopping them getting into the site.
Big round for Go Next. We said, economy damage doesn't really matter if you never win the round. And now they finally manage it. Massive picks. I mean, they were destroyed on the site. The actual push, no legs to it whatsoever. And even the argument of Zeke finding the double, it doesn't matter. If the flank is not there to pick them apart, there's a third guy coming around that corner. And it's probably the second guy, so the timing's a bit better. And then all of a sudden, it's a different fight that you're entering. That wasn't the case. Iced up nicely by Mini. Going back for the second time, I agree with you as well, Tom. And I would say, like, majority of the time, that's a mistake made by players. But this time, it pays off. They get their first round on the board. They push the economy to the limits on the side of Barca. Just one loss now. They will be pushed down to an eco. That's big for Go Next. For the attackers, who almost have a free pick. In fact, it's more when that goes down. Caught by a stray.
Oh, that Hunter's Fury not going to have too much of an impact, but... And actually, Zeke's gone down, planting the spike, immediately evening things back up. Prophet keeps things close, but not for long. The advantage quickly swings into the favor of an opponent. This time, Mini is expected. They know roughly where he's going to be coming from, or at least they did. They had an idea. Instead, he gets 2 for 1. Again, the double dip. I don't know how he's getting away with this.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye on that Mini guy now. I don't know. He's got an invisibility shield or something. He's been talking to Harry Potter. I don't know how he got away with that one.
Do you want something funny?
Oh,
Isn't
man.
that your nickname? That Mini guy.
One enemy remaining.
I don't appreciate that, Tom. I just want to go on record and say I don't appreciate that. No, that's not my nickname, okay? Nobody calls me that.
It will now.
Son of a... All right, 5-2. Barca in prime position, but their economy's being wrecked. They have the lead. But for how long? Go Next are hot on their heels. There's pistols ×4 with a stinger for Guardi. But, you know, the difference is there's 4 players on the A side. There's a big gamble from Barca, and it seems like it might pay off, at least based on the positions of the attackers right now.
Got the right read. It's just whether or not this is where the push goes in. The fact that they've seen nothing, I think, is alarm bells for Go Next. Why has there been no resistance, no information searched for? And I think Mini, why by all accounts, he's somehow going to get 2. That's now my logic. Is he should die immediately, that somehow he's going to walk into a crossfire of 4 players, and he's going to come out with 2 kills.
He's overheated. He's up against pistols. They're going to throw everything at him. They're all going to come into that fight. And he's found one. His teammates got another, and he's out. He's not overheated. I'd like to take back my words and apologize.
Let's wait for the second one. I'm just saying. I'm ready for it.
Flanking
He's
again.
He's somehow gonna get a second kill here, even though he is nowhere near the action. It makes no sense for him to. But the rest of the players over on Barca, getting anything here is gonna be tough. Like, you're walking into what is a crossfire, and he's not peeking, so there's no way. Okay, it didn't happen this time, but he should have died.
Oh, luckily he didn't. I mean, the fact that he was stunned
he very
as well.
nearly got the one that Prophet got.
Yeah. The 140 Outlaw came in to take it, but the thing is, though, like, I think it's very ballsy of them, even up against the pistols, to send that one player to A. They wait at the start. It's an eco. They have traps outside C, cam for mid, and they're sat back. Nobody pushes. Nobody pushes on an eco. What does that tell you? Well, they could have pushed down C long to the trap and gone back. They didn't go mid. They didn't even look mid. And no presence anywhere on A after a minute. They're stacked, right? Like, maybe they're stacked C and just hooked on sight and counting their seconds, but probably they're stacked A. It was the right read. And then you're going to make noise on the other side of the map, maybe kill the guy who pushed up C in your mind and cause the rotations, and that's when Mini's going to win you the round. Problem is, if he dies, they have a rifle, and all of a sudden, they're going to do decent on the retake or have a chance of some legs to stand on. Didn't happen, but that's why I thought he kind of overheated a little. He took a big risk, and this time didn't get punished. And if anything, found success from it.
I feel like I'm getting flashbacks to about 4 different maps we've seen so far. A team with a 5-0 or a 6-0 or a 4-0 half or start, and it's slowly dwindling. It seems like these solid starts don't really mean too much, but already Mini tagged. He's had so much impact in the last couple of rounds that him being low definitely has value. 4 players ready and waiting, but 1 left so blind it doesn't matter. Size has done well. 2 quick kills, 30 seconds. There's no way to double back out of this, and there may just be a question of, do Go Next hold on to the guns? The answer, seemingly, is still unknown, because they are still pressuring this. Even Mini, with 3 HP, is risking, gambling, but for now, it seems like they will just hold on to the guns.
10 seconds left.
To be honest, finding a kill there might have been the opposite of what they wanted, because there's a part of me that thinks it would have spurred them on to rush the site into the stack, into the meat grinder. Luckily, the passive play is what emerges. These players go back. Rifles carried forward to the next. Round victory for Barca. And that's all they need at this point. You know, just a couple to sprinkle in to cement their lead as they finish this one off. They get to 8 rounds. They'll be pretty happy. Go Next economy, not down and out just yet. Ult-wise, it's not like Barca are in a massive deficit. They've got 2 ults online. Neither one really massively impactful, as can be said for Go Next. But a Hunter's Fury just won away. Strong post-plan potential for Vorwin, and if he's anything like Davey, they better stop him from getting that orb.
Oh, Lexic. Seen him light up the server yesterday. Been decent so far, but not quite to the same standard that I'm sure he and the Go Next guys will be hoping for. An aggressive push already deep down C-Long from Maniac. Operator in hand. This is such a absurd amount of control that they can even start gambling players back in the other direction. Even if they were to take the C site, he would be able to stop the majority of powerful post plants without them clearing him. But now at least Gonex seemingly happy to take a much slower account. And this is the spike. Oh, that's a good jiggle. I thought for a second Bob been trying. Now just the swing back. He's got an idea there's someone there. He hits the stun and removes Mini. Alrighty then.
He gets the job done, I'll tell you that. Arsa, advantage now with Mini down and out. Plant to be found by Go Next. Size has the opportunity to use the neural theft. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Over towards Garage. That hat was off his head. Now they have the intel. They can see them. Even caught the TP towards Long. That's one Long, the rest site. All the info to work with. The spray is good for Guardi. And the op shot closes it out before you even get to register that the retake had started. That was a quick one for Barca. Very little growing pains and 7 already cemented.
Yeah, that was a really solid retake and just a fantastic round already from Maniac. As I said, he's someone that we've seen in the past playing on the likes of 10 Star, Anonymous. Like, these are teams that we've witnessed but not quite had the success that maybe they should have done, but he always shone as an individual. And that was just an impressive round. Not only the fact that he held that control for so long, but when giving it up, just had the realization of how much ground had gone. Good communication. And then the retake was just stellar. Flash left the majority of the opponents blind and made it very difficult. A much more direct approach in this round. Alexic leading the charge. You can see that Size is just waiting. If someone walks into that trip, he's hoping for a freebie. Jesse already went through. In fact, it's basically just a laser beam fight on the site. And it's Profek doing the work. 2 kills. Leaving it all onto Vorven. He had an impressive retake, almost solo on the pistol, but this one would have to be solo completely. He's got to be careful. That box is not the strongest. Well, I think, yeah, he's screwed here.
Yeah, I don't know what I could have expected him to do, really. Another round for the attack, chipping away. Trying to deny that 8-round scoreline, and I think that's certainly a reasonable goal at this point. Rolling Thunder 2 away for Zeke. In the side of Go Next. They've certainly managed to find some legs to stand on. It was looking a little bit too dominant at the 5-0 for Barca, but like you said, Tom, we've seen this story before. Somehow, I think this is Go Next map. With what's been going down on both streams, I suppose. I think it's just following us. Lexic. Nice op shot. That was a lag. 30 HP left on Maniac. He's back towards the site.
He goes back for more. The confidence 30? Is definitely there. Mini's also been caught. Puts things back even once again. I guess the ebb and flow of the round is going to continue. Vorven's position is almost certainly going to be revealed. He tries to fight off the back of it. And again, there's 3 players ready and waiting. The reads have been sublime. Last or penultimate bullet for Vorven is going to take down Alexic, trying to take the fight alone. This is very disjointed from both teams, in fact. I feel like a lot of this has come down to just who's winning the firefight in this round at least. But with the defenders still having the stack up, it's going to be difficult to break apart. And even though Jesse is so desperately low, he's managing to land every shot in front of him. He's even going for some style points, and you know what? He's going to get him. Another 4K for the new man signed to the Barca squad. And they're going to close out this half 8-4.
One enemy remaining.
Welcome back to the 8-4 scoreline. Barca moving to their attack side on Haven, and this is where they're going to be tested yet again. Go Next managed to find a couple of rounds towards the end of that previous half. We'll see if they're able to string together a few more. A pistol would certainly help out the cause here, Tom. A pistol for Barca, the nail in the coffin of the defenders.
Yeah, definitely looking like a fantastic debut for Jesse already. I think, but it was sort of said, if you're going to make a change going into Ascension after already winning your league, it had to be for someone who's going to make a difference. And it's safe to say Jesse has been making a difference. 8-4 up. We're needing a response from the side of Go Next. Bear in mind, this is their map choice. Up next, Icebox, chosen by Barca. Lexic's going to be the point of contact, or at least you thought. He's managed to be completely bypassed, and he's been wrecked by the looks of it. Straight through the smoke. They didn't check for Mini. He's at least managed to keep things even.
Plant down. Now the favor towards the side of Barca. Damage has been done. Gold spotted, sneaking his way up behind, but there's no one to really fear that inside garage. Only buying a little bit more time. Its size, and Maniac very low. Orwin on the 100, and my goodness, what a clean shot! Neon sliding around and hitting everything that's thrown out towards Go Next. That is exactly what we warned about. A potential nail in the coffin. They can still kick that door open, but it's only going to get harder and harder from here. Barca 9-4, looking for double digits against an eco.
Yeah, I think already witnessing the difference of when your superstar isn't like having those same performances. Like, don't get me wrong, Alexic hasn't been bad, but last time out dropping 28 kills, it's a little bit of a difference maker. And yeah, it's something that seemingly Barca are more than capable of dealing with. They have looked very comfortable on this map. Maniac again is going to look for those openers. Took some damage, but still manages to win the fight. And while the spray down doing so much, they didn't check for Alexic though. And here he is, the man that was mentioned, somehow managing to already get himself two. Sheriff picked up, will finally be shut down, but there's another man around the corner. Vorven is the voice of reason. Well, for size, he'll at least now get a gun into his hands.
Mini. His timing here is going to be key. Both players have just sat in position waiting for him to come to them, and it was the right call. Double digits will be locked in, and despite the fact that Go Next have managed to fight admirably under the conditions and now come into a bye round, so they've got a chance. The gap is massive. Go Next are going to have to dig deep on this defensive side and make next to no mistakes if they're going to have a chance of making this work.
Yes, this should do.
Yeah, we saw them fight back a couple of times yesterday, but this feels like quite a different scenario. Like, Barca have not only been beating them in terms of some of the individual prowess from the likes of Maniac and Jesse, especially Vorven in some of the early rounds, but they've also looked like they have really solid synergy with each other. The executes on their retakes in the first half were sublime, always forcing players into awkward battles and fights. And when you have Maniac as the tip of the spear, that makes his life incredibly easy. Now on that attack side, well, Guardi, I'm guessing, is going to have a lot of that setup power here with only a Sheriff in hand. And again, seemingly Maniac actually... Oh, okay. All right. That couldn't have gone much better for Profek.
Zinx had a good run of it as well. Caught the late lurk up through mid. Profek still a problem, even though they've dropped Mini at this stage, and there's support coming through. Zeke now ready to take that fight. The flash is good. It's caught a few, and it's in fact caught more than enough. Zeke's already tripled it up. At this point, okay. At this point, it's already over. I thought Guardi had a chance for a second, but not quite.
It still puts a little bit of extra damage in. Of course, this was a round where there were definitely some pieces missing for this is going to be a road to recovery. I think we're going to need a little bit more side to go next. Good round from Zeke, though, will at least garner him some extra orbs, get him closer to having that rolling thunder, but still none of the ultimates particularly close, so everything seems to come down to this one. Is it the beginning of the comeback, or is it pretty much the end of the road?
Well, there's going to be a fight on A, that's for sure. Lexic, well, he wanted to go swing that angle, but Bold went ahead of him, found the kill, and that's all she wrote. Spike dropped on the floor, and a 5 versus 4 is the result. Barca on double digits, double the scoreline of their opponents, facing trouble here. I don't think Profec's going to help that out. It's an awkward position. He is not looking the right way for now, and in fact, the gun model might even have blocked him. That's unfortunate, but still, it doesn't get things even, and Zeke has not been spotted. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, this is all falling apart. A walk in, but definitely not expecting there to be a second player there. Understandable. Like, if you see a player boosted up on top of the back of the site and you get that kill, I don't know why you would expect the player to be close. You'd have thought they'd have to walk past him for that to happen. Barca seemingly gifting over the lifeline to the opponents. Now, the spike is in the hands of Guardi, but I don't think he's going for this. He would have to walk through the Cypher utility. He'd have to fight versus 4. And okay, maybe it gets him closer to a Rolling Thunder. It would likely lose him the gun and any chance of having something to fight with into the next round. And that's the thing. He may even opt to just drop this over into someone like Maniac's hands and still look to set him up. He's got everything other than a singular flash still available for the next one. And by the looks of it, the defense, they know that their economy is not exactly stellar themselves. So they're going to sit back, not overextend, and just make sure they have the guns.
Thinking about the future, especially when you've got quite a long road ahead of you, I think that is the correct call. Certainly can't fault them for it. This early fight. You know, when I saw Alexic coming to swing, I was worried because the guy doesn't miss many shots, but Bold's bottom fragger of the server said, nah, you know what? I'm going first. I'm going around that corner lightning fast, and certainly worked out. A little confidence builder for him. 10-6, 4-round gap. And Go Next on their defensive side have a Rolling Thunder to work with if they need to make a retake happen. They're not looking to do that on A. A lot of presence still early on short and quite aggressive. And Mini's rotated around to reinforce the quick play that may be needed. Alexix done okay, somehow surviving the onslaught of players on the other side, and the spam is beautiful.
I see this man shooting through a smoke, and I'm already getting flashbacks. Vorven still making things competitive. This is a half buy, a light buy for that attacking side, and they've realized, okay, we've got the information. We know where these players are. Let's hightail it to the other side of the map. There's no utility that they can run into either, with Mini already being down. For Size, this is an opportunity to get into an unorthodox spot, to put himself in position where he can get maybe more than one. A one and done here is not going to be enough, but you can see for Go Next, they're grouping up. They're going, okay, let's just try and trade this one out. Are they going to check the corner? The answer is no, and he gets the 2 he needed. Now down to him versus Vorven. Now, Vorven does have the ultimate. That might even sell a false idea to Profec that, okay, this guy has himself a Hunter's Fury. I wonder if he uses the ult himself almost just to check. I wouldn't mind seeing that from the shadows used as a recon just to try and find out where his opponent's going to be, because this is not the angle I would be checking. I would be looking towards long almost immediately. Smoke onto the spike. It's all but a ruse. Vorven just looking for that timing to walk in. He has played the mind games to perfection, but let's be real, he was not the hero of this round.
No, maybe in the late stage, I do agree. A huge play to go and just sit in that corner, not use the Hunter's Fury, but there were some factors that led to success outside of his control. Size lurking up on mid. We've seen this very same play in a similar position from Zeke, who was able to blindside the players as they went from one side of the map to another, using mid as a transitional phase, a highway. And it certainly wasn't a pretty sight that they emerged to. This time around, it was Size, big round, and that puts 11 on the board for the attackers, and that understandably sends a bit of panic into Go Next's camp. They're going to call a timeout and look to reassess how they're approaching what could be the last couple rounds of the map.
It's such a rough round to lose as well. Your economy is already in a bit of a weird position You've got a Blade Storm, so I think that will likely be able to pad what will be missing. Maybe have to pull in a Bulldog or a Guardian as well, but I don't think you're going to be ecoing here. It would be a peculiar time to do it. And for the attack, that's got to be a mass confidence booster. You're able to win a round where you basically had a couple of hero guns here and there, and you're clutching it out off the back of some fantastic positioning from Size. It's his ultimate that ends up giving them the read. It's his reposition that gives them the double. You can't ask for much more from the Cypher. And here we go. Alexic, a player highlighted at the beginning. The 18-year-old to try and take things into his own hands. Even just the information he's got, it's going to be huge.
Hunter's Fury, early by Bold. Going out looking for connections, and it's found it. Vor went down and out, but it's a trade. Alexic has already been gotten rid of, and that was towards A main. The aggression punished, but at least equalized. The defensive side have a chance to pull it back. A chance sits on Profik and Mini's shoulders. At least it did. I saw 3 players inside of smoke from Barca. They've gone back. They've reset. 50 seconds on the clock. They can take it where they like. It looks like revenge against Bold is the play.
Shift walking into the angle, but shot's not connected. Rolling Thunder going to be used. The dart even alongside it. They've got so much information of where these players are. Shock dart is actually going to bounce back. Definitely not ideal. And actually, there's a flank. They've blindsided completely. Somehow, it looked like for a moment Size might be able to turn that back, but thankfully, the remaining players of Go Next will hold the line. It's 11-7, an immediate response. And now, well, the same could be said for the opponents in terms of their money.
Definitely feels like Size is starting to get a read, a feel for how this map is being played by Go Next. 2 rounds in a row where he's able to find these gaps, either sneaking up behind them or otherwise. It was a shame we saw in the replay there, just about within range of that Hunter's Fury. Thought he was safe, but step back and he might have been okay. 1v2 that Size was left in. It could have went his way. This time it doesn't, but plenty more rounds to play for. Oh, this is a fast play. Hunter's Fury used, everything used. They're throwing the kitchen sink at them. The site still has 3 players on it. They've seen 2. They've seen 2, and they're still going. Bold has backed up this squad, and this is a mistake from Barca. One that they, well, in this round, don't stand too much of a chance of living to regret. Spike went out on his own, got blinded. This is a disaster. In fact, blinded, but no assist. Jesse, 1 kill, that's it, and Bold shuts him down. That was a bit of a perplexing round, I have to say, from the perspective of the attacking side. I thought they had the info, Tom, that the A site was decently stacked up, but they just go hell for leather anyways.
Maybe just trying to blitz their way through, but an immediate pause makes me think that maybe there's something for the coach to have words about. Not wanting to let Go Next back into this, because as we've seen already, this team, when their momentum gets going, they are a force to be reckoned with. They already have a victory under their belt versus Apex, who bounced back today just about. And that's the thing, although this might not be a mass financial investment, a couple of ultimates being utilized here by that attacking side that won't be available in that next round. It now puts them in an awkward spot. In fact, the only one remaining is that Rolling Thunder. The same could be said on the other side, only having a singular ultimate left, but with the economy in one team's favor, with 4 of the last 5 rounds going the way of Go Next, it's understandable that Barca don't want to allow them back into the game, because let's put it this way, even though the next map might be yours, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win it.
I'm going out on a whim here, but I think that
a whim or a limb,
either one. I think that Barca call that pause because of last round. In the replays, I see the fact that Bold has used the recon. So I think there were 3 players known to be on the A site in a 5v4, and they barreled forward anyways. I think as a coach, that would have me slapping that pause button, because I think, you know, it signifies to me that a team is just a little too, what do you call it, tunnel vision, you know, in that moment. You're close to the win, that's all you're thinking about. Doesn't always work out. Big reveal, but no one to follow up on it, I thought. But the reveal still has not been destroyed, and so, well, it gives Mini one.
Yeah, no, Size has done well. Zeke puts the advantage back, and they hadn't cleared the backside. Remaining 2 players quite far away as well. It almost seems like they're playing a post plant, but there's no post plant yet. Alexic, this should be free, and it will be. And this is starting to fall apart now for Barca. Another round is going to go amiss as they are left segmented, trying to fight in towards that B site. A solid hold from Go Next as they go from strength to strength. And although the attacks seemingly still have credits to invest something into this round, again, it's walking in and just facing into a complete crossfire, not checking the back of the site. It's not been anywhere near as clean when it comes to this attack.
There have definitely been some growing pains at this point. Barca found themselves in a really advantageous position, but now it's down to just a 2-round gap. The attacking side has a big danger brewing. Bold has snuck up long. He's felt out the timing perfectly. Up against pistols, this is a risk. He's now surrounded. If they find out that he's here, he could be in trouble. He's been spotted. At least takes down the one. He's not contained anymore, but he is challenged. And Size finds the kill early. Rolling Thunders, we saw this in the last game. Set up to try to keep them towards spawn. With that ult cancelled out, they sense this should be the play coming through. I expect Guardi to smack that left click. It's gone through. It's caught most of them. Zeke, although, has a little bit of a foothold, is punished immediately. Guardi around the back. Oh, he was in trouble, I thought. The shorty emerging from the smoke and immediately being shut down, and Size collapsed those boys to close out the round. Well, growing pains subsided.
For a set, it took a moment for that to process, because I was sat there thinking, wait, wasn't there 2 people alive as the round ended? Size's impact could not be understated over these last couple of rounds. Don't get me wrong, Guardi did fantastic work as well, but that is just disgusting. Closing things out in style, the Sentinel alongside the Breach have given them the round that they needed, getting them to at least a map point. We've seen plenty of OTs today, so I'm not going to count any chickens. Lexic going walkabouts. We've seen this already on the other side. The escape plan, they're waiting on the other side. It's actually going to be an operator, and while just quicker on the trigger. I want to say it would be Maniac, but I actually think Guardi hit the first shot.
I know exactly where you are.
Well, whoever fired first, there's a body on the floor. And it's most certainly Alexic. That hasn't worked out. Obviously the shock dart for the left side. We saw the right one last time. None on the B side. As we get into round 22, Hunter's Fury. Sent out. It's found a tag, which I thought. I mean, I didn't see the assist pop up, which is why I'm doubting myself, but irrespective, 4 versus 4. And Go Next, a little bit lost for where the hit's coming in. Barca just hit the brakes completely. Oh, that timing is horrendous for Go Next.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds remaining. They've spotted out one. Bold has done well. That's a spike on the deck. Size, again, having the impact needed. Already put themselves in that post plant. The post plant that could potentially end the map in their favor. Their opponent's choice. Go Next, needing to find something. The stun, perfect. And now Maniac, this is not a spot you want to see an operator in, somehow still standing. The drop down, they've gone right into his face, but there's no way he survives this. The time, more than enough for Go Next to get things over the line. Not expecting 2 players from heaven. And while 10 will be on the board now for the Polish squad.
Now you can tell this defensive side wants to go to the next map with 1 map under their belt already. And it's becoming closer and closer to being realized. Just a couple of rounds in it. Barca, no doubt, feel like they're on the home stretch. In most cases, they would be. Economy seems okay. It's not the end of the world for this squad. We're getting down to a very thin margin. The amount of rounds Go Next have been stringing together, and Barca only find one here or there. Go Next get that 3-round streak, that 12-12, pump into the OT. I don't think we'll have the same slow start that they did in the beginning of this map. And again, when it came down to rifle rounds, Tom, Go Next have been coming ahead. Late half is where they've thrived, and that's all you get when it comes to overtime.
A 12-10. We've already seen these breakbacks, these crumbles towards the late stages of games, and I don't know if that will be the case here. Size still seems like a serious danger in every single round, and although Go Next have been getting better and better, it really just does take one of those hero plays, and there's been so many of them, especially in that first half. Jesse maybe going a little bit quieter, but still having high impact. Already spotting out the trip. Thing is, though, Alexic's going to go for the face. Timing here is going to be everything. He almost gets two, but instead it's two for Maniac. It looked like it was going to be a double one way, and instead it's a double another way. Now he's playing the bodyguard, the bouncer. For anybody trying to enter back in, they've got to be careful of this AWP. Well, they're not.
That should be it. Cemented here and now. Mini up top. The last remaining hope. 4 players to take down. A Guardian to do it. The chances, well, they are slimming by the second. There's a laser beam hunting him down. He could even fall to his death if he likes. They're giving him a choice of how he goes. Isn't that so kind? He'll drop on the box and try to fight back, but it's a one-way ticket. Barca taking the map. Labored as it was. They got there in the end. Now we're going to go off to a break, and when we come back, a potential 2-0.
In my zone, yeah, I feel at home. Silence on my phone, focus on my goals, whoa.